welcome to episode 17 of the Zazu podcast. For those of you who are new, my name is Caroline. You can find me on Ravelry as Woolbox, on Instagram as wool_box, and you can find my hand-dyed yarns at Etsy, which is zazuyarns.etsy.com. First of all, I would like to thank everyone that sent me birthday wishes on my birthday, which was November 5th. I had a really nice day. Also, thanks to you guys. I got 2 really nice presents, or actually 3. Annette, who is Mama Grizzly Knits. She has her own podcast. She was going crazy. She actually gifted me one pattern and then thought, I don't know why, because I really liked the pattern, but she thought it wasn't a good enough present, so she bought me another one, which is crazy, Annette. You're crazy, but thank you very much. It's really sweet. The first thing she got me was the noodle pattern by Susan Claudino, which is I don't know what kind of animal it is. Is it an animal? I don't know if it's an animal. But it's a stuffed animal. Look it up. I wish actually someone pointed me in the direction of the noodle because I asked you guys some episodes ago what I could knit for my nephews. Well, I have it now, and I actually liked it really. I liked it a lot. So I'm definitely going to knit that now, or at least try to knit that, and we'll see what comes out of it. And she also sent me a Time to Reap, which are fingerless mittens by, and now I have to, Melissa Shashwari, something like that. But just type in a Time to Reap. It's fingerless mittens, and I really like those as well. So thank you so much, Annette. You were crazy. You're crazy. And then Antonella sent me a pattern as well. It was raining gifts. She actually bought me the Audrey cardigan, which is a really nice cardigan. Which I put in my queue, my Ravelry queue, which I also did with the noodle pattern, and I really didn't know you could look into someone else's queue, so I was like, why are these people buying me patterns that I actually really like? So I said to Antonella, how could you know that this is totally my style and I love this pattern? And then she replied, well, it's because you put it in your queue. I didn't know that, so I learned something about Ravelry. But she gifted me that pattern, which is by Swan's Island Company, and it's a really nice cardigan without buttons. It's just open, and you can close it by using a pin that you could also use for a shawl or something like that. And it has these really long sleeves, which I love because most of the time sleeves are way too short for me. And then in the sleeves there are holes, which I obviously don't have right now, in which you can put your thumb, so the sleeve actually comes up to here and then your thumb sticks out, which to me was like the perfect sweater when you're cold, because then I'm always pulling my sleeves like this and putting them like, oh, I'm cold. So thank you very much, Antonella. I'm definitely going to knit it, and I love the pattern, and it's so thoughtful of you. Thank you very much. The reason I wasn't here last week had something to do with my birthday, because on my birthday I was just at the office working, and after lunch I was actually typing some email all of a sudden my boyfriend was in my office. So I was like, what are you doing here? And he said, well, type that email and then close down everything because you're going with me. And I said, where am I going? Where are we going? Well, I'm not telling you. So I was like, I really thought we were going to do some cooking course or something like that, or I don't know, some spa thing or whatever. I didn't imagine that we would go where we actually went, because I only found out at the airport that I was going to Portugal. He took me to Portugal. He's crazy. But it was really nice. So he actually took me home, and then we were home just from my office, and then he said, okay, you have 15 minutes to pack a bag with stuff and clothes for 4 days. And for most women, that's a challenge, so for me as well. And I was like, where are we going? Is it warm? Is it cold? Do I need sweaters or t-shirts? And he was like, I'm not telling you anything. So I actually put half of my closet in a really big bag and just hope for the best. And of course I grabbed some knitting with me, but I didn't really knit there because we did so many things. But then we left to the train station, and I was like, okay, we're taking the train somewhere. And obviously we did, but I didn't know that we were going to Schiphol, which is the big airport in Amsterdam. So when we arrived there, I was like, okay, we are flying. But he didn't tell me where. So he was holding my passport, he was holding the tickets, and he just didn't say where we're going. And all the time I thought that we were going to Berlin, where my brother lives. And I totally didn't think of Portugal, where really good friends of ours live. And we didn't see them in quite a while, and in the meantime they had a baby, which I didn't see yet. So it was really nice. When we were at the gate, first he parked me at the wrong gate, so I already knew we were not going to, I don't know where this gate was going, but it was obviously not where we were going. But at the end, when it was time to board, then he took me to the right gate, and then I knew. So it was really nice. We had wonderful days. It was wonderful to see them again. I played a lot with the baby, and well, it was really nice, and the weather was great. I mean, it was 25 degrees, and I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it was summer again. And there I was with a big bag full of sweaters, but I also brought some t-shirts, and I could borrow some, so it was okay. But well, enough rambling on about that. It was a great weekend, and that's why I wasn't here, because we were flying back the day I normally podcast. So that was the reason. Then I forgot to mention last time that there is a knit-along coming up, because my Tulip Fields shawl pattern is out. It has been out for a few weeks right now, and I totally forgot to mention that. So I will tell you more about that at the end of this episode, but it starts December 1st, and it's all about knitting my first pattern, the Tulip Fields shawl. So if you can't wait, just look into it. But at the end of this episode, I will tell you more about that. And then, yes, a lot of things happen in the meantime. I have some great news because we finally found a home. I don't know. We were just really lucky. We found a house and I really liked it. My boyfriend was like, I don't know, it's kind of expensive. And so at first we didn't do anything about it. We did go there and, visit it and saw it. And then we didn't do anything. And then for some reason the vendor dropped the price, so we got it again in our email. And then I said, okay, we're going to check it out for a second time. And then I don't know, for some reason my boyfriend turned around and was like, we're going to take this house, or we're going to try to get this house. And we actually got it for a pretty good price considering the abnormal prices here. So yay! We are going to move! Finally! Yes! So we are, I think we're going to be able to go to, well, I don't know how you say that. The transferring thing, or what do you say? The day we get the keys and the house is ours will be at the beginning of January, so that's really soon. And then we will still rent 1 month in this apartment to do some stuff on the house, which will be the flooring, the heating in the floor, and the kitchen. And we want to install a second stairwell to the second, I don't know how you say that, to the second floor. To the second floor. Wow, really good. But so, and of course we have some painting to do and stuff like that. So we are going to try to fit that in 1 month, and otherwise we'll just live in a house that's not finished yet. But what happens, happens, right? So really exciting, and well, you'll hear more about it when I have more news about that. But this background is going to change soon, and hopefully we'll have more lighting, because as you see, we don't have a lot of big windows here, so the lighting isn't all that great, but whatever, we'll cope with what we have. So yay, it's going to change. Then let's get into the whips, because I've been talking for 13-14 minutes already, and you haven't seen one knitting thing. So my first whip is, I'm going to start off by saying that the featherweight cardigan, I didn't work on it in the meantime, so I am not going to show you that. And as I told you before, I actually didn't really work on it because I think it's really going to felt, so I'm not sure whether I should finish it or make something else with the yarn. So if you have suggestions, please tell me. So the first whip is baby shoes. I'm actually going to show you what they should look like, because my friend Wendy gave birth to a baby boy whose name is Logan, and I thought it would be nice to at least give her 1 or 2 knitted gifts. when I go visit a baby. So these are the boots, and I thought they were really cute. They are called moccasin booties. You can see them here as well. And there's also a poncho available that matches. And it's by Mel Clark. I don't know if these patterns are available on Ravelry, but check it out. But it's from this book, Knitting Gifts for Baby, and it's a book I bought a while ago. It was a second-hand book. And you can see them here as well. It has all sorts of nice things in it. Well, it's a nice book, I think. Maybe I can show you something else. Oh, yes. For instance, this bear is in it, or this cute sweater. So, and obviously this hat, some other baby shoes or baby booties, hats. There are some throws, or you say that, I don't know. Well, a lot of stuff. So look into this book if you're interested. So what I finished here is one booty, kind of. This needs to be seamed up, as well as the bottom. This is some scrap yarn, which I think I have to remove and probably use the Kitchener stitch to get this, to sew that. And I still have to make the top here, as you can see. So it's not finished at all, but then you can see what the idea is. And I'm actually knitting this out of some super plain yarn, which is Red Hard Super Safer, which you obviously, I think you'll all know that. I had some left, and I was like, well, if a baby starts crawling or walking, then this would be pretty durable, I think. So it's pretty plain yarn. And on the top there is a pattern, and I think I will do that with some dark blue. As you saw, this is the red. I will use some dark blue for that. So that's my first whip. Then the second, I think I left the second one in my bag. 1 minute, I'm going to get it. So I got it, and it's this, and you'll probably think, what is that? Well, last time I showed you an owl, and I already told you that I was going to try to make a bigger one. So this is actually the bottom, and this is the beginning of the owl. And so far it's going great. I just actually made it twice as big, so I multiplied almost everything with 2, and then it works. It's a really simple pattern, so nothing nothing really to tell you about this. Nothing interesting. The yarn I'm using is, again, this yarn. I still had a lot of this in my stash, and I thought this was appropriate stuff to make stuffed animals with it. So I don't know what I'm thinking. So I'm using that, and I think it's a great plain color to use the felt which you and buttons with which you make the face with on. But I will show you that later when we're going to add O's, because obviously I wouldn't start this bigger owl if I didn't finish the small one. But that later. And then the third whip I'm working on is actually a new hat pattern, or at least I think it's going to be a new hat pattern. But you know, when you're creative, you're just doing stuff, so if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And if you hear that noise, you probably do. They're doing some construction work on one of the buildings here, because almost every week they're doing something like that on some of the buildings. So I can't help that. I can't turn it off, and unfortunately I can't close any windows anymore because they're already closed, so can't help that. But this is the hat, or at least this is the first part of the hat I'm designing, and well, this is the first, well, how do you say that? The first sample I'm knitting, so it might get some changes along the way. And I'm not really keeping this a secret for now, because what's to keep secret about this? So I'm using, for this sample, I'm using Drops Fable, and I will also use this one, so I will use these two together. So yes, there will be color work in it, and as I already said, this is probably going to be a new design, but if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. So don't get your hopes up yet, but I'm going to make this, and if it works out the way I planned in my head, then there will probably also be a matching mitten pattern, because you guys asked for hats and mittens, and I still couldn't make a choice, so I was like, let's just do both. So this is going to be the color combo for the first sample, but it's, I don't know, I think it's this yarn is, it's not really, it's pretty soft, but it's not nearly as soft as merino yarns or something like that, or my own yarn, so I will probably use that for the actual design, not the sample, you know what I mean. So that's coming along, and those were my whips for this week. And then finished objects. Let's put its nose good. My owl! And it's really tiny, but I think it's cute. It is a shame, however, that the colors are not really coming out great, because this is actually more bright green, but can't really help that. I used 2 buttons, and on top of some felt, and the nose is also from felt. And what to say more? You have to, after you close this, you have to pull these to make 4 ears, I think, and that's it. So this is the bottom. You can see that here. This bottom is way bigger, as you can see. And it's pretty simple. You just make the bottom and then pick up stitches for the other corners and go up and seam it together and make the face. Oh, no, you make the face before you seam it together, otherwise you can't really do that. And then stuff it, and then seam it together. And I still had some felt laying around. It was kind of a pity because I told you that I actually put some stuff in storage, and that is a really loud motorbike, or scooter, whatever. But I put actually all of my nice felt colors in storage. So that was kind of a pity because I started this project and then I was like, oh yes, I will get all my nice colory felt out, and then I realized, oh, I'll put that in storage. So the only colors I had were a dark green and a light green, and a dark gray and a light gray, but the dark and light gray on gray wouldn't do a thing. So well, I do like it with the green, but it's, I don't know. I would like to put some other colors on the other one, but I will probably won't go to the storage until we move, which is at the end of January. So I will probably do that with the green as well. Then, what do we have then? Stash enhancements. Well, obviously, I enhanced my pattern stash with the patterns I got from Antonella and Annette. And I also enhanced it, or, yeah, well, yes, with a book from my friend from my knitting group, which is Carla, who made the book So Warm, which obviously is on the other table. So I'm going to get it. 1 second. So here it is. This book, and it's all about twined knitting. So I'm going to check if I can show you something. It's an old technique from Sweden, and you actually use other yarn than your normal yarn, or at least that works better. You use Z-plied yarn, which means that it's plied in exactly the other direction, because when you knit these things, you twist you use 2 strands of yarn and you twist them around each other after each stitch. So I'm going to check if I can show you something. That is taking me a little while. you guys? Yes, okay. So, this is one. And you can see that it's a pretty Swedish pattern, or Scandinavian pattern. And the twining of the yarns in between each stitch makes for a really dense fabric. So it's really warm, which is why the book is called So Warm, I guess. And it has all these different... You can't really see the pattern, I guess, which is a shame. Does it want to focus? So there are all these things, mittens, socks, but also other stuff like bags and fingerless mittens, headbands, hats. There are really nice things in this book. You might be able to see it here. All these nice things that are explained really well. Charts are added. Well, it's actually, I don't think it's the easiest technique, but you will be able to make really nice things with it, and you do have to be patient because it takes, well, a little while longer than your normal knitting, but I do want to try it. Obviously, this is a bag. Which is, I don't know, she's in my knitting group, and so I am going to try it. So it's this book by Carla. And if you watch the Show Malin podcast, Show Malin, which is Maya, who's from Sweden, she already talked about this book as well, and she already knit something out of this book. So if you haven't seen that, or if you haven't seen her podcast yet, check it out, and check out a few episodes back where she was knitting, I think, were they mittens? Yeah, I think she was knitting the mittens. So check that out, and then you can see what it looks like. Not from a picture, but in kind of real life, real video. Then, questions and answers. I want to thank you all for all the tips on yarn winders you gave me. I made a list, and I'm just going to check them all out and then make a decision. Some people recommended the yarn winder I already have, and maybe mine just has an error or something like that, but I don't want to take the risk, so I will not buy that one again. But I will look into the other ones that you guys recommended and just pick one and then I'll see if it works or not. Then I have a new question for you guys. What is your favorite item you knit yourself for cold or winter? So it may be something that you've knit years ago, or something that you just finished, but just tell me what your favorite knitted item is when it's getting colder. So they might be socks, they might be some wrap or shawl, or a really big sweater or cardigan, or a hat that keeps you warm. Please let me know. Post your project, or if you have pictures, I would love pictures. Post pictures in the episode thread for this episode, in the Ravelry group, which is the Zazu podcast group. So just search for Zazu podcast, and then you should be able to find it. Because I am really curious what you really like, and then maybe we can inspire each other to knit something great, which we will all cherish for years to come when it's cold. I would love that. So please let me know, or let each other know, in the Ravelry thread for this episode. Then, other crafts. It's not really a not yarn related craft, but it's other than the knitting I normally show you, because this time I have something in crochet, which I think you haven't seen from me yet. And there the noise is again. I'm sorry guys, I can't help it. Because what I started, and this is one of those projects that has been laying in a drawer, and I didn't work on it for at least a year, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, I actually have to start crocheting on this again. So this is it so far. And it's supposed to be, oh, there's some fluff on it. It's supposed to be or it's going to be a skirt. So I will try to show you a little closer. So it has a knitted, well, I could say waistband, but it's actually for the hips. Or at least I made it hip size. I don't know. And then you just pick up stitches from the band here, and you start crocheting this pattern. And obviously it's pretty shine through, so you have to wear some kind of dark blue skirt underneath, but you get the idea. And unfortunately, the color is way different on screen than it is in real life, because it's actually a really nice deep blue, and here it looks more like, I don't know, a navy blue. It's more like this, I guess. Yes, it's more like what you see now. I don't know why it gets lighter and more, I don't know. But it's crocheted, and obviously this is where I am right now, so I put to ensure that it wouldn't unravel, I put the stitch, or how do you say that, the loop, around the ball I'm working with, and I still have 3 balls of cotton left, so it won't be a really long skirt, I guess. But we'll have to see, and otherwise I might have to change to another color, because I bought this stuff pretty long time ago, and I don't know if they still have it. I have to like in the same color, so I'd have to check that. But it's made with cotton from Hema, which I showed you guys before, which is this store in Holland, which has all these home things, kitchen stuff, I don't know, supplies for the office, children's clothing, all those kind of things. You'll probably have a store like that. But it's 100% cotton, for a size 2.5 to 3.5 millimeter needle, and you can wash it on 40 degrees Celsius, that is. Yep. So, and it's a 50-gram ball, so I still have 150 grams and whatever this weighs. If you want to make one of these, I made this from a video, a YouTube video. Oh, and this has some elastic band in it, so you can see that it's but I made this from a video, or at least I'm making this from a video, which is by Jachelle Stephanie, or Jachelle Stephanie, which is Jachelle, for Jachelle, and then Stephanie, Stephanie. And she has all sorts of crochet videos or instruction videos on crochet. And this one is called How to Crochet a Skirt, and it comes in 2 parts. Part one starts with the knitting, and then part 2, I guess, is the rest of the pattern. I don't know. I'm not sure, because it's actually a really long time that I watched the video, because I didn't work on it. So I have to start up part 2 again when I'm going to continue this. But she has all sorts of other really nice videos on how to make stuff, and she just shows you how she does that, so you can actually follow the whole video and then end up with a knitted item, or a crocheted item, I mean. But, well, I think it's a really fun channel, so look that up. And I'm actually looking at it, and if you have less, you could make a child size, so I just folded in half right now, but that would be fun as well. If you have a small girl walking around your house, a toddler or whatever, you could make a nice, and this would be fine for a skirt. So that's my other craft for this week. Let me know if some of you guys maybe already made this skirt or something else from her channel. That would be great. Then the only thing that is left is the knit along that's coming up, because I don't really have a shop update this week. I will be dyeing some more next week. So I still have some really nice yarns in my shop, so check that out. Knit along. The pattern is out, my shawl pattern, and obviously I didn't bring the shawl to show you, but I will insert a picture here. And we will start the knit along December 1st, as I already said. But you can also start right now, and if you're already working on the shawl, if you already bought the pattern and you're already working on it, that's fine as well. I will open up a cheddar thread for the knit along, and I will also open up a finished objects thread for it. Wow. Sometimes words, I don't know. In the finished objects thread, do not post anything until you have a finished object, and only post once. So post one picture of your finished object in that thread when you're finished, and do all of the cheddar and the whips in the cheddar thread. I will set the end date right now on January 31st, so you'll have 2 months to knit it. If you're looking for yarn, you could obviously, if you want the yarns that have been used in a pattern, they are available in my shop, or if you we will start the knit along December 1st, as I already said. So, but you can also start right now, and if you're already working on the shawl, if you already bought the pattern and you're already working on it, that's fine as well. I will open up a cheddar thread for the knit along, and I will also open up a finished objects thread for it. Wow. Sometimes words, I don't know. In the finished objects thread, do not post anything until you have a finished object, and only post once. So post one picture of your finished object in that thread when you're finished, and do all of the cheddar and the whips in the cheddar thread. I will set the end date right now on January 31st, so you'll have 2 months to knit it. If you're looking for yarn, you could obviously, if you want the yarns that have been used in a pattern, they are available in my shop. Or if you want to use some other yarn, I know my test knitters used, one of my test knitters used some other yarn from my shop, but you could use actually every sock yarn there is, at least. Well, I would choose a sock yarn that is soft and not all too sturdy, because it's a shawl, it comes around your neck and you want it to feel great, right? So I would recommend something merino-ish. That's most of the time that's really soft. You would need 100 to 100. Oh my god. This happens to me all this episode. I don't know what's going on with my words, but you need 100 to 130 grams of sock yarn in color A, so in whatever color you like. In the pattern, that's gray, in my overcost colorway. And one other color, color B, you need 10 to 20 grams of that. So you could easily use some scraps for that, which would be great. If you're thinking, hey, I have one 100 gram skein, and what do I do with the rest? You could also use 3 colors. One of my test knitters did, and it really looked nice. So then you just pick 100 grams of the skein you have, and then add around 30 grams from another color or a scrap you want to use, and then choose color B, which will then be color C, also maybe from scraps, 10 to 20 grams. If you want to join, I would love that. I will knit one myself, and I think we'll have a blast. I will also make sure there are prizes, so I don't know exactly what they are yet, but I will inform you next week or whenever I know. But there will be prizes, and if there are people that want to also give away prizes for this knit along, then please let me know. I guess that's it about the knit along. This is the first time I'm really hosting one, so if I didn't tell you some things, then that's because I never really did this. So if you still have questions, then just let me know and I will answer them next week, and obviously on Ravelry or wherever you ask them. I think that's it. So I hope a lot of you guys join, because I would love to knit something together with you, and make something beautiful. And maybe if you're fast, this would be a really nice Christmas gift or something like that. But we'll see, right? So that's it. I hope a lot of you guys join. I hope you'll have a great week ahead of you. And I will hopefully, if boyfriends' birthdays and stuff like that won't come in the way, I will hopefully see you next week. Bye!